I'm hoping this is helping with your intro.
This is. Yep.
She said, actually, I'm just disassociating.
I'm just like further pushing it off. Okay, no, I'm going to do it. I hate this stuff. Okay.
Fine, I'll do it.
Hi.
Can that be the intro?
Please.
That might just be it.
She said, my first podcast.
Entertainer.
Oh, shit. I was going to stand up and do a little dance. So sorry.
We have plenty of time. Don't worry. That needs to happen too.
You can please some of the people all of the time,
You can please all of the people some of the time.
but you can't please all of the people all of the time.
Welcome to the People Pleasers Podcast. Today, we have two of my favorite people.
Two of my favorite
our
people.
favorite people.
I think to know them is to love them, honestly.
Absolutely.
Which is why when we first started the podcast, we were like, okay, who do we want as guests? You two were like the first people that we mentioned.
The first people we listed.
Not even lying.
That's really sweet.
I know. We love you. We're obsessed with you.
We are.
You both are great.
My previous couple and also my favorite people to travel to New York with.
Yes.
We have Caroline and Shella.
Yay! Welcome!
We made it! No, this really has been a long time coming because you guys have been on every note sheet, every Google Doc. Like, guess when we started, you guys were always at the top.
Yeah.
There was no one else above you guys. You were first.
I know.
That's sweet.
We just have so many questions for you. We want to hear from you.
We just
More
want
about
to
your
hang
story.
out.
Yeah,
with
and we just
you.
want to spend time with you.
Love hanging out.
It was actually just an excuse to hang out.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That was really what it was.
Literally, with a professional
Yes.
microphone, you can hear yourself directly in the lobes.
Oh, I'm loving
the lobes.
this audio visual.
I know. Caroline's like, where's the camera? Ew.
Honestly, just watching you sit here like this, so that's what I've envisioned this whole time. Just ready. Yay. Well, welcome. Welcome to the People Pleasers.
Thanks. It's so good to be here.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we always started off kind of in the same way of, we should probably say how we all know each other and how we all met. So obviously, like I mentioned, we met previously.
I was going to say,
but
back it up.
Our friendship really took off when you two asked me to be your wedding photographer. Yes. And it's just history after that. Mm-hmm. That's really all.
We quite literally planned our entire wedding around Grace.
It was the second. It was day 2 after we were
was the
engaged.
decision.
We were like, okay. Well, we texted Grace immediately, but then, Grace already knew that I was proposing because I
was at
hired
the
you to
proposal.
come. Yeah, exactly. But
That's when I started
we got to
crying, but
figure
it's so
out if she's available. Yeah, and so I met you at Vested.
I do remember that. Yeah, because you were like, kind of, what's your availability at this time of year? And I was like, well, I kind of have this and this and this. And Carol was like, okay, that's fine. We'll play it around you. I was like, what? What?
Oh,
You
we
want
will.
me that bad?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There was nobody else we were going to talk to.
No.
We were going to make it work.
And we were like, we will pick, obviously, very busy girly in this community, but we really said, like, whatever Grace has available, that's what we're going to prioritize because we love your style so much.
And you were so kind because December is such a time for you to be calmer
Yes.
and enjoy your time
And of course
with
we're like,
family.
oh,
and we're like, by the way,
Christmas
can we?
But also, that was my favorite wedding to end my year on. Yes. So that was my favorite part. I got to end the year with you guys. So it was the best memory ever. I loved it. I want to go back to your wedding all the time. I want to go back to your wedding weekend, to the entire weekend as a whole. I want to go back to all. Yes. Let's just do it again, shall we?
I was going to say, let's relive it right now.
Yeah. Why not? Well, we'll go back into it. First, let's now go back into how you met Sarah. How did you guys all meet?
The Abbott.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We all worked at the
Duh,
Abbott.
I knew you guys then.
Yeah, I was like,
dumb.
you need to back it
She
up.
was like, let's take it way back.
Yes.
I was like, no, you're missing it.
You were right, though, because that's where our friendship really started.
Yes.
But we knew you, but we all worked together at
Yeah.
the Abbott. We were kind of doing like a side hustle job as
Love a side
bartending
hustle.
that you're still going with.
Best venue manager.
Oh.
Is that the right?
Yeah.
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 That I got to work with. Though.
Amazing.
You were so great. And you were so fun.
Thank you.
You were
I know.
so fun. I wish that you
I know. No, not me, but just in general. I feel like we had so much fun.
Yeah, it was a blast.
I know.
And it was just chill. I mean, it's a good time.
It was.
Right.
And I feel like you and I's personality connected right away because we're both like,
I remember the first time I met you. You were behind the bar, obviously,
Yes.
and I was like, "Oh my goodness, who is she? She's so fun!" And you just like out of nowhere, like I didn't even say anything to you. You're like, "Hi." You're like, "Who are you? What's your name?" And you were just so sweet and outgoing. And I was like, "Okay, I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I absolutely love her."
have to be best friends.
good. Because
Yes.
sometimes people are really like, how, what?
But again, same energy. So I was like, "Oh, yay,
Energy
cool,
match.
yay, perfect,
Yes.
And then I just, Shella, I'm obsessed with you. You're just so sweet, so kind, so outgoing. Just like can
So
have a conversation about
caring.
anything. Yes,
So kind and
so
caring.
kind. We just love you both.
a Care Bear.
Yes.
I am. I would
question.
love to be a Care Bear for Halloween.
What color?
A sunshine bear.
Okay. Yes.
Always sunshine bear.
Easy.
Yeah, or birthday bear.
Now that you mention it.
What Care Bear?
Sometimes, like, when people are being mean, I'm like, this is who you're being mean to. It's
Yes.
like a Care Bear.
No, literally. How? How?
Who is mean to me?
I mean, I don't know. Just if anyone were to be mean to you,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I would be like, this is who you're being mean to. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my god, I love it. And then, but you two, you met there as well, right?
Yep.
yeah.
I cannot wait to share this experience with you too.
Okay. Yes.
So this was the first time Carol and I bartended together, and it was at the Bardo. And there was
Like, where's this going?
there was this woman who kept trying to get Carol's attention at the bar. And she's like, Carol, Carol. And just like, I mean, jumping up and down. And this was a very prominent family's daughter's wedding.
Oh.
okay.
We'll get into that later. But anywho, so this woman is like jumping up and down, just trying to get
I'm
Carol's
just
attention. And
ignoring
she's-
her, which is not my normal MO.
And she's immediately annoyed. Also not common. It takes a lot for her to be annoyed. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like she's very much being kind of rude. She's being very rude to this guest is my thought.
You know what?
And so finally she comes back and says some words that I won't repeat. And so I asked her, I'm like, well, what is the deal with this woman? And she was like, oh, well, she cheated. My husband, good God, I'm sorry. Can we do that? My boyfriend cheated on me with this woman. I caught them,
Ex-boyfriend.
ex-boyfriend, yes. I
Not
caught
current.
them messaging on Facebook or some social media app.
No.
And she
yeah.
just was
she was trying to talk to her?
Yes, so eager to get her
And
attention.
make no mistake, it was his fault, okay? It was his fault.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yes.
Yeah. But this person I was acquainted with, she knew me. And she had auditioned for the same team I was on. I had helped her before. She was trying to get my attention. And I was like,
Not again.
Not
I
right
just
now.
the
and this
entire
was like
night.
a couple years later, but I was still pissed.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And she finally was Carol and was like, hello.
Can I get you another Sauvignon Blanc? Sure.
That's exactly. Oh, that's funny.
So that was the first time you guys worked
Yeah.
together?
And then we had that gin event.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Did you get? I don't. Think
I didn't get to
think
be
you were
there.
Gone yet.
So
I think
I
you
was
were
I was
already-
there, and
Yes.
in my mind, you two met at that gin event.
That's where it blossomed.
Okay.
Because we would go to Monarch Bar afterwards with Nicole and Sage, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it was like, hey, then we're gonna go get a drink, and we all went. And she asked me the first night if I would marry her because
Oh, Carol, I
I
love
had
it.
just read Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Oh my God.
And I indeed was
and I was
untamed.
in love with Abby Wambach. And I
Well
was like,
played. Yeah.
so she's presented herself to me.
Yeah, you said, wait, my very own.
and I will you marry me? And I was
Glennon.
like, oh, she's joking. Well,
Yeah.
she's very good at manifesting. She's so
Yeah.
good at manifesting.
Clearly.
I manifested
weird.
our entire relationship. I will say though, one thing that you're leaving out is on their first meeting we worked together at the Bardo. That had happened with that girly pop, and I was nice to her at the end. Whatever, I guess. And then, so sorry if you're watching this, girl. I'm sure you're doing great. I've seen her a couple times since, so I think she is doing
You're
great.
cordial.
Yeah.
You're over it now. You're married. You're on better things. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. She looks great. She's great. But at the end of the night, we were packing up and we were waiting to like lock up everything. And I will never forget It was like 11:30 midnight. It was late. I was tired. Everybody was tired. Shella gets a phone call, and I was like, and she answers it right away, which always alarms me because if someone's calling me, I'm like,
Ignore.
Wait till there's a
Immediately.
voicemail.
Why are you calling me?
What are you calling about?
She
Text
picks
message.
up right away. You pick up right away, and you're just in her little sweet voice. She's like, "Hi, what's going on?" So I was like, "Oh, like who's she talking to?" You know what I
Good
mean?
emergency contact.
Yes, at this late hour, at an hour such as this. Yes. But it was such a strange feeling because I remember when I heard you say that, I'll never forget it. In my mind, I thought, I wish she was calling me, or I wish I was calling her. And then I had to be like, skirt. Like, what? Who is she? What am I thinking? I had only ever dated men ever in my entire life. And so when I met you and I felt like that, I was like, what? And again, just reading the book, just reading Untamed, honey. Like, I was like, oh, like, and then our friendship started blossoming. But
Ted
that
Lasso.
was my first realization that I was like, oh,
Ted Lasso. That's what started it.
that's where our lore
That's where,
began.
yep.
That's where it all, like, conversation starter. Like,
Yeah.
that's what kind of got it.
It connected us
What a great
on
thing
a
to
level.
connect,
So
too.
every Sunday we'd watch it together, and it was easy. We'd cook or order in whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. It was great.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was really great.
gosh.
So I got to know her on a different level.
Yeah.
Which is always what I wanted, was to get to know someone as a friend first and get and
Right.
get to
Develop the
experience-
friendship for, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Foundation.
Yeah, like
building
no
that foundation
pressure,
first. Yeah.
just hanging out, and it was
Exactly that.
beautiful. That's what it was. Yeah, it was great.
I'll never forget when you guys like announced publicly that you were together.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about that?
The world
Talk
blew up.
Yeah. How did you feel, like, especially you, Caroline, like never dating a woman before? What were
Yes.
your thoughts going into that, and just all of the emotions? I want to know about it.
I remember that exact moment, and I have never felt more hyped up in my entire life. Everyone was like, yes, like everyone was just so sweet. But it was so interesting because, again, I had only ever dated men before, and I had kind of fallen for Shella after we had like this great friendship that we had started. But I think it was an interesting time in my life because I don't think that if I were even a few years younger, I would have been open to our relationship. I cheered in the NFL for 6 years for a very conservative organization, and I don't think dating anyone else, like dating women at all, would have ever crossed my mind. Even though I had all these beautiful teammates, I never saw any of them like that. They were all my best friends.
Right.
So it really took meeting the right person and being at the right place in my
Income Shella.
and being at the right place in my life to really accept like same gendered partnership as a real option for me.
Right.
And then it just made sense. But I just remember we were in New York City. It was our first trip together, and we had
And we were going as friends because we had booked this trip as friends.
yes.
Okay.
With my twin sister and one of our best friends, Ashley, that I cheered with. And I told her before the trip how I felt. I was like, I can't be in New York City at Christmas time with this girl and not tell her that I'm obsessed with her. So I did. And she said the same. But it was nerve-wracking. But I honestly, though, I felt peace about it.
Yeah.
I had no worries. We had a conversation.
A very long
yes
conversation.
Because
Yeah.
I think Shella's worry, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about this, honey, but like I think your worry was that this was like people always use the word experiment.
Right.
But I was like, I've already been past that in my mind. I wouldn't have even brought it up to her because we were so close as friends at that time. I don't think I would have put you through that. And we did kind of have an arrangement that was like, okay, if anyone feels weird, say it ASAP. So we
Right.
can go with the best chance of going back to being friends. But I don't know if that's how you felt too.
Yeah, definitely. It was, I just wanted to make sure that I was intentional with the time that and the energy I was going to give to you in a romantic space. Because so often I always tended to attract women who had only dated men.
Yeah.
Like me.
And,
Got it.
it was problematic sometimes because I actually didn't really enjoy that because it was always led me
It was
questioning a lot of
temporary,
things.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never was brave enough to ask, what is your intention with actually wanting to see me or date me, etc.
Right.
And then I, found the person that I felt safe with to have this conversation with, and it was great. And she was very warm and welcoming about everything I asked, all of my fears with it, and very much so wanting to make sure that regardless if it worked out or didn't, that we were going to be able to maintain a friendship. And then we got married.
And that was
And we're still friends.
and that was the first introduction that I had to being in a relationship with a woman.
Right.
That she said to me, okay, let's have a conversation. First of all, a man would never.
I was going to say, just bringing up the conversation.
Is the conversation in the room with us? No. But then she goes, and let's bring our fears to the table too and just share those. And then we can get on the same page about our fears. I'm like,
This is everything I've ever wanted.
would never. I was like, okay. I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was a good communicator. Turns out.
Till you met
Expert
Shella.
over here. Yeah.
Hardly.
a lot, honey.
Oh my gosh.
Makes me so happy.
I know. And it's funny because you guys are literally like, you're different people, but you're also the same person in the fact of how much you love and care for others, but then also how much getting to see you guys love each other is just like, there's no two greater people in the world that deserve the greatest people in the world. So seeing you guys come together, it's like, oh, duh.
Right.
Like, that makes all the sense in the world.
Right, and that's like from our, or at least from my perspective, once it was out there, we were just like, okay, like I cannot think of, like you said, two more deserving people, and
Yeah.
like it just makes sense that you two are together.
I feel that way.
It was the right
I feel
decision.
that.
Yeah.
It was the right decision.
So we talked about how you met, kind of, when you fell in love per se. What about the proposal? So I want to know, I guess, Shella, when did you know, like, this is it? Caroline's the one.
So one of the things that I like to tell Carol all the time is she actually teaches me how to love people better, like louder. I am someone who struggles a little bit with verbalizing how they feel about somebody, and she makes that a lot easier for me because I see her do it, and so I get to follow kind of in her lead, which is great. But she is the most loving person I've ever met in my life. And my family is a little complicated, and it was always something that I was concerned with whenever I met the person that I wanted to be with, how they would receive my family. And that for me was the telling point of, oh my gosh, she's very loving, very accepting, excited to see them, wants to be around them, knows that we're all a little crazy, but at the end of the day, yeah. And that for me really, spoke volumes. And I was like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find somebody of this magnitude ever again in my life. And I would guarantee today that I wouldn't. So it was pretty easy.
Oh my God. That's beautiful.
The sweetest thing.
I love it. And so with all of that being
Oh, and
said.
the proposal.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even answer your question.
No,
I
you're
apologize.
good. No, but it was a double question. I said, how do you know?
that
Keep
answer.
going.
Yeah. So,
By all means.
so the day that she told me that she had feelings for me, it was actually on her birthday. And so I had taken her to coffee, and we had kind of hung out during the day, and I like to go do random stuff. There was a tree farm, like a random tree farm, like a Christmas tree farm.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's super cute. Like, I just want to go walk through it for no reason other than just literally to walk through it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have that experience with her. And so there was a cute little old vehicle, and I was like, oh, I want to take a photo. Like, it just super picturesque, super cute. And I wanted to go, and I wanted her to go with me. So I had taken her there that day. And then that night, well, let me back up. So when we were there, I'll never forget it. She was just kind of stood there and was like just kind of looking at the space. And she goes, life is cute. That's what she said. And that just
I do
for
not
some
remember
reason,
this, but that sounds like me.
yeah, like it just
so
cute. It just resonated with me, and I was like, "Oh, it is." And I was like, "And I'm with you." Like that. That's what I thought. And so
I was working on being present in the moment. I am always working on that.
You do very good. You do very good. And so she had gone home, and that's when she told me how she felt. But when I was thinking about how to propose to her, I was like, I want to do it there. And I was like, it's adorable. We got a wreath there one year. And so I was like, this can be like our annual thing. And it's very intentional. We actually used
And I love Christmas time. I love Christmas time.
And we had remnants of wreaths and things from that space at our reception as well. And so like I love that area. It's so that was why I decided to propose there. But it was stressful, and I didn't know. So Grace was meeting us there like a ninja. She was like hiding in the back of her car, and I'm anxious because I'm like, is she
Where
here?
is she?
I don't know.
Yes, I am.
And like Carol,
She was there.
I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, let's go look at this tree. And she's like, why in the hell are we looking at this tree so intently? Like, she's like looking through it, like maybe there's a package or something in the tree. And so anyway, I finally see Grace like pop out, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I can finally like stop this crazy that I'm doing.
I don't have to stall anymore.
Cute. Is it life cute? Tree cute.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been really good for me to have said that in that moment. That's not at all what I was thinking. I was like, life is stressful. I was like, can we? So anyway, you popped out, and then I was like, oh, this is my cue. I'm ready. And so I said a bunch of gobbledygook that did not come out at all the way I literally rehearsed it. Thank God you don't remember it either.
I blacked out.
Don't we all? Neither of you remember.
No idea.
So you never know.
No. And then I just kind of like also came to myself, and I was like, oh, I have this ring in my hand and I'm on my knees. I need to stand up now. But yeah, so it was wonderful.
But you stayed down on your knee for a lovely amount of time, and I appreciate you for that.
Oh,
Women, right?
Yes.
Women.
Stay. I always tell like
These
the people
men,
proposing,
they wanna get up.
I'm always like, if it feels uncomfortable, you're doing it right.
Yes.
Stay down there. So you stay down there, and I'm like, you're doing great. This is good.
I think it's because I blacked out.
I'm supposed to get up now.
My
And I
legs
was
stopped
like,
working.
Wait,
no.
I'm still looking up at her. I need to stand up.
I think Carol even came down to you.
Oh, that's
She came down to you. She's like, okay.
She said,
"Oh,
"Oh, when I blacked out." It's the moment I blacked out.
And then you both stood up together. It was perfect. Oh, it was so sweet. Proposals always make me really, really nervous. So I was in my car like this in the back seat.
Reclined.
And all these people saw me get there and just like get out of my car and go in my back seat. And I'm just sitting here.
Hello.
Who is this girl?
You okay?
And then I just like sit and wait. And then once you guys pull up, I'm like,
Scream, yes.
okay,
Screaming,
all
crying, right now.
Yes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, Carol, just don't look at me ever. And
No.
it worked out
I
perfectly.
didn't see you
It
until
worked out perfect.
the moment, and I actually didn't start crying until I saw Grace. And I was like, oh,
Literally, it became real. Yeah.
and it was so sweet that you thought about that. It was so sweet that you thought
And
about
please let it be known that Carol did not say yes to me immediately. She said, "Are you serious?"
that. Well, that's when I got the sight of the ring, honey. I was like, oh my God.
That would be my reaction.
Responsible enough for this.
I was like, maybe that was when I blacked out, because now I don't know how to respond to this.
You're like, I thought so hard about this. I thought she was going to say yes. I wouldn't have done it.
It's
She
an
wouldn't have said
easy
yes.
response, right? I was like,
did
this should be an
say
easy
yes,
response.
though. I did say yes.
Yes.
Just not right away, because I, again,
Hey, you're blacked
I
out.
don't even remember not saying yes.
Yeah.
I just was like, you know.
It's just a full
blinded by the
reaction. It was pure reaction to what was happening.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my goodness.
so
special.
fun.
I love that, Grace,
so
that
fun.
you were there too. It's fun to hear her perspective as well.
It's so fun to like look back and be like, I was there for the proposal, the engagements. Also, when you have the engagements that you guys had, the engagements, the wedding, like that's truly from not even finish, but like start to somewhat finish of like the wedding planning journey, that getting to see every stage is that much more special. So I will never forget any of the memories I've made with you guys.
We
but
couldn't have
those
done
are
it
so
without
special.
you, girl.
I love you guys so much.
So was a wedding, it was no questions, like we're having a wedding, or did you consider eloping, or how did you guys, I guess, make that decision?
Yeah.
We considered all of it. I think we wanted a wedding of some sort. We just didn't know how big or small, so we kind of did everything. Like, we kind of did both, because we did a civil ceremony at the courthouse 2 days before our reception. And I think for us as two women, like, no one was going to be walking down the aisle to anyone. Like, that wasn't something that I wanted, and you didn't either. And I think we also, like, aesthetically liked the idea of kind of, like, a more retro look for our, like, courthouse photos that Grace took. Those are so beautiful. Like, I love those photos so much. They're so classic. And it was just a really fun and intimate moment with just us and family, and then a few close friends too. But we had considered a few things. I don't know if we fully considered elopement, but now looking back, I'm like, oh, I see other people doing that. I'm like, I get why they do that, you know? But we did like a reception 2 days later on a Saturday that started at like 7. So it was more of like a cocktail party, which was really fun. I like that we did it like that.
Yeah, we did discuss eloping and like traveling and bringing our family and things with us, and so I think it was just the logistics of traveling with family, especially our family who's a little bit older, and then making sure that everything's going to get where it needs to be. That's
My nephew is
stressful.
also in a wheelchair, so we have to like we always take that into consideration too, like with any event we're planning.
Yeah.
So,
But the way that we did it, I don't think the only change I would have made.
I'm so glad we're getting into the changes. Perfect. Bring it on.
I would have made it just a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
whoops, that was my fault.
How many did you guys have?
Oh,
I don't even know. I'm gonna let her answer that.
okay. So I think on the day of, if you're Grand Street Cafe, just turn your ears off right now, and yeah. But I believe that we had 226.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Which
That's not.
It's kind of like a big ass group, though. Like that's a lot of
That's
people,
a-
honey. You know
Right,
what I mean?
so that's a big wedding.
That's a lot of
It's
people.
not huge, but it's a decent amount.
Right.
For sure.
Well, you guys probably know. I don't feel like it's common for almost every single person you invite to actually come.
And they did.
they
These people
love
came
I
out.
love everyone who came to our wedding. Like,
had
I'm
so
so
much
grateful. So grateful. But I was like,
Shocked.
whoa, yeah.
It was one of those where you're like, oh, okay, like 20, 40 people will say no, and then you're like, oh, shit.
Oh, they all said yes.
Oh, they all said yes.
And I think we definitely could have made it smaller. We absolutely could have like had like an a plan of like, this is who we want to invite, and then if those people, we could have done it like that. But I don't know. It felt so right to have everyone we've ever loved just in
one
the same
room.
room.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
And it was
so cool.
It was really beautiful. Our wedding planner, Emily, oh man, crushed it.
Shout out to Events by Emily. We love her so
Yes.
much.
Oh my gosh, amazing. And I just, when we walked in, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my! It was,
I had
we were
no
blown
idea.
away. We
Yeah.
were blown away.
So
I
pretty.
love that.
It was so
I'll
That's
never-
the best thing
amazing.
that
I'll
a
never
planner can
forget
hear.
that moment. Like, I will literally never forget walking into our wedding. I think it was like one of my favorite things. And just seeing everything and everybody and just knowing how much work went into setting up the space. Like, it just, oh my gosh, Emily and those Christmas trees and all the things.
Yes.
Like,
They did a really good job. Yeah.
It
They
was
did
great.
honestly like guest perspective magical. Like seeing every part of it. Like even the courthouse ceremony, in my opinion, was magical in its own way. And then the reception in itself was magical in its own way. It was just, I think the time of year also was just like the most happy, beautiful
was
time
warm.
of year.
it was.
It was warm.
Yeah, when I told her I wanted a December wedding, she was like, "Ooh, holiday hoobie wedding."
What?
You know?
Yes,
Absolutely not.
So get Sarah started.
Done.
It worked out so well.
She said yes. That was our anniversary. Our
was, yeah,
December's
close
our
enough.
anniversary,
Yep,
so
yep.
it made sense.
Yeah.
You got engaged at a Christmas tree farm.
I know. It's very fitting. But
It
man
is.
alive, I do not like cold weather.
But we got a 55-degree day, honey. I didn't even wear my fur coat I was planning on wearing.
Oh yeah.
Which I
I didn't even
regret.
have to wear a
but-
coat. It was great.
So good. Well, I kind of want to go back into, you mentioned Emily. So how, obviously I'm one of your vendors as well, but like how did you guys go about finding vendors? How was that process?
Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
Well, to be frank, we really wanted to only partner with vendors we knew were truly for us.
Yes.
And we were always very clear about that. And on a deeper level, what I will say is but really at that time, specifically me, we were getting married the year before an election year. I didn't want to hire anyone that was going to take our money and give it to the Trump campaign. Like, to be honest.
She's like, is she muting me? Is she muting me? No, it's a clown.
Please keep talking. There's
Like-
no reason we asked this question.
Yes. Like, the thought of our little money going into I really was having a hard time with it because we had talked to some other couples that had been through some crazy things. Yeah. With very prominent planners in the Kansas City area, with very prominent, DJs and different people within the industry. Like, we just didn't want to give our money to people that weren't for us, truly.
Yeah.
So we needed to make sure that they didn't just want our money.
Yeah.
So we just kind of point blank asked, like, how do you
And
How
I
do you
want
feel
to
about
say, yes, that it was definitely one of the first questions we asked.
Yeah.
And we ended up having a vendor who it wasn't super obvious on their site, but I had gotten to experience their services at another event, and I really liked them, and I wanted to at least feel them out and use them.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome, actually. And I would love to encourage people to not be afraid to speak up if they want to find an inclusive vendor, because sometimes they need tips and tricks to how to make their site or
Yes.
whatever you're looking at them on, their social media, etc.
Yes.
So people know that they're inclusive. So we were filling out their intake form essentially, and it was very wife.
It was very gendered.
Yeah.
He, she,
Yeah.
groom,
Yeah,
bride.
exactly.
And so we couldn't even fill it out, and we brought it to their attention, and they were so receptive and so
Awesome.
kind. They
and immediately fixed the
and
form.
they were so
Yeah, I love
sweet,
that.
Great,
and they
yeah.
were like, "Oh my god, absolutely, we need to change this to
Yep.
partner or to
Partner
you know."
one,
And
the
they
partner two.
did.
owner reached out to us too and was like, thank you so much for like bringing this to our attention. You know, this is honestly not something we've had to deal with yet.
Yeah.
But it was awesome that they were so receptive and
Made
you
the
know,
change.
They made that, and that's all people really want. I mean, I think it's so hard now because people are always like, I can just hear it in my mind, right? That people are like, you have to be so politically correct nowadays. No, you just have to be willing to make the changes, and no one is being unreasonable by asking for that,
No.
right? So it's like,
And I think that's huge that you did
Yeah,
ask. Like, I
yeah.
feel like a lot of couples in your position probably would have just seen that and said,
filled it out and said we
Yes.
did the best we could,
right, or
and-
just not, and been like, okay, that's just not the right fit for me, without actually having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And I will say too, I don't want to say, or I don't want this to come off like, oh, we requested them to make this change and they only made this change because of us.
Yeah.
I think that we just had an opportunity to introduce a new way of thinking
Yes.
for them that they were always open to.
oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just didn't know how to
They hadn't applied
facilitate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it just worked out. And maybe those other couples that might have even been same gendered didn't have the opportunity or didn't feel comfortable to speak up to ask for the changes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
We're like,
I
you
don't
know
want
what?
it to seem like this person or this group wasn't inclusive. They very
Right.
much were. We had conversations with them before we continued booking. Because
Yes.
we too didn't want to we wanted to make sure that you're not just doing this because you want our money.
Right.
You're doing
Right.
this because you actually do agree with this, etc.
You support
and
our
if
marriage.
You don't,
Yeah.
your business, you can run it however you see fit, but we want
We're
to
going
make
to
sure that
politely decline and go another direction.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, and full transparency, even because you guys brought that up to me when we were in the midst of planning for you guys. And that's something that, like, I myself was like, I need to pay more attention to that because it's not something I really thought of. It was a new way of thinking that I'm like, obviously, without a doubt.
Yeah, you always
Absolutely.
thought
Yep.
like that, but
Yes.
it's just
But I didn't think to double check those things or to look into those things.
And you're
so I
running
was
a
like,
business.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. And so you're just like, I have all these other things that I'm trying to do, and like physically going and taking photos
Yes.
in your respect. And so I can understand that people don't think about the forms people are filling out online when they want to submit information for an inquiry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even, I mean, again, honestly, both of us within this podcast, we
catch
been
ourselves
more
saying bride
aware
and
of our
groom, and we're like,
language.
no, what,
Yes.
we got to reframe the way we're saying this. It's just like the tradition was to say it like that,
Yes.
and then
Right.
And we
it's
catch
ingrained in you in a
ourselves,
way.
and we've been
Yeah.
very like it's the new way of thinking of it's opened us up to we can't just go down that one lane like we've thought. It's like no, there's a good way to say it, the right way to say it, and it's really challenged us in making sure that we are making that a priority to say rather than just again then people misinterpreting and us not even realizing.
Right.
So you guys really, I mean, by bringing that up to them, who knows how many other couples have then been able to book that vendor, and because of the conversation you guys were so open to having with them, and in such a great and respectful way too, of hey, we just want to bring this up to you. How many couples have then benefited from your guys' conversation?
We hope so. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. Hope
Oh
so.
yeah, absolutely.
For sure. That's one of the reasons why we asked this question, because it's like, from our perspective, it's like you said, it's like we don't want to like tokenize one couple and be
Yeah.
like blast them all over your social media and
Right.
essentially use them to be like, I'm accepting, look at
Right.
me.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yep.
it's a fine line to walk to you know,
Yes.
present yourself
That's
in the right way and make everybody feel comfortable.
That's a really good way to put it too.
To that point, though, one of the reasons that we chose Emily was we did a styled shoot with her, but she very specifically wanted a same-gendered couple who was legitimately a couple.
Right.
And because she too was like, I don't want to take two
Yeah.
women who are straight or two men who
Exactly.
are best friends,
Right.
and they're like, hey, let's just throw them in some photos together and call it a day.
Right.
But
Well, and at the time I was working so I was a bridal stylist for many years, and I was working at a local bridal shop here in Kansas City, and they asked me if I wanted to be the model with Shella, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that would be so great. And the girls that own the shop, they have always said, and I will give them this, like they were always very adamant about, we don't want to be performative. Like, we want to show that we're inclusive, and we want a real couple too. So it was a great match with Emily, because Emily asked for us. She's from California. She has a incredible business that's still in the works and still going strong in California with her team there. And she works with a lot of same-gendered couples. So she wasn't even thinking like, oh, I should do that just to have something different. No, like she actually told us, she was like, I work with mostly queer couples, you know? And so she was like, I didn't really think anything of it. But the girls too at the shop said, you know, that's what we want too. We don't want anybody that is like pretending. That feels weird. That feels performative. And so they asked Shella and I to do it. And it was so fun. And that was kind of our first experience with Emily. And she was just so thorough and so great. And just so outward too about her support, which I appreciate. As the loud bitch that I am, you know what I mean? So, like, I am loud about my opinions, and so I appreciate that.
So you guys touched on kind of the vendor side of conversations you were having with people. Is there any advice you have to people that are now in your shoes, trying to navigate finding the right vendors or having conversations with vendors or with family or with friends when it comes to a same-sex couple planning their wedding? That's a hard one, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, my number one would be, especially with vendors, is to ask the hard questions. Is to just ask them. If you can do it in person, great. If you have to do it over the phone, totally fine. But you're going to learn a lot when you just ask the question.
yeah, or I mean, just really do it how you feel comfortable. If it's like through email and you don't want to have the hard
that's what I mean.
conversation
That's
in
what I
person,
mean.
yeah, like ask how you
By
feel
all means,
comfortable
yeah.
asking
And I mean, and it could be that is not as important to some same-sex couples. It really could be that. I think for me specifically, like I was like very, for both of us, but really for me specifically, I was like, I'm not giving my money to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also think too, in terms of family and friends, you've lived this life for a long time. You've really only dated women, been in relationship with women. I have only dated men, and then Shella was the first woman that I ever, brought to my family. My family was completely unfazed. They're all very progressive, and I'm very lucky in that way, and my friends as well. So I really don't think that there was anyone. I'm very fortunate that I had that experience. I realize that is not everybody's experience. And I also am very careful the way I talk about it, because some people, will come to me and say like, oh, when did you come out? When did you? And I just am like, I don't think I did.
Right.
Like, I don't.
There wasn't a big coming out.
No, it was just one of those things where I don't want to take away that experience from, and I don't feel like me saying that means that I'm taking away anyone else's experience, but
No, because it's
That
your
was your
experience.
experience,
Yeah, that's your truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it was anything that I had really thought through, like, in my life prior. I'd always been a progressive person. I'd always been an ally. But I don't feel like I ever had a coming out moment. I just kind of announced my relationship with Shella. And I still, to this day, don't know how to identify, because labels are hard for someone like me who has really only ever considered themselves straight, but then just kind of happened to fall in love with a woman. So it's hard. But I mean, I would just say in general, ask the hard questions, especially with your vendors. Friends and family can be a little bit more tricky depending on how progressive they are and how willing they are to kind of meet you where you're at.
Yeah. Well, and we are also in our 30s, got married when we're
Right.
older.
So we're grown-ass women, so it's like...
Yeah, you feel a little bit more
Deal with
comfortable.
it. Yeah, you
in
don't
your
like
own
it?
skin.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And so I guess my piece of advice is, regardless of where you're at in age, that at the end of the day, this ceremony, this moment is for you and your significant other. Your family, friends can have their opinions. They can share their opinions with you, and you can take them, leave them. At the end of the day, it's what do you want? What do you and your significant other feel comfortable with doing for yourselves that day? And because that's what I think, what I've seen a lot is so many people will interject their opinions, and then it becomes this, oh, I have to do this thing because this person said this. And you don't. It's what do you want to do? What's going to make you and your significant other happy to celebrate your love that you are also sharing with your friends and family. That's my opinion.
And that's
Take it or leave it.
I mean, I feel like that's... You're
Taking it.
You're so good at that. Like, she's so good, you know?
Well, we're all so different. Everyone's so different.
Well, you are, but, like, you're so good at, like, meeting people where they're at, and sometimes I'm like, why don't they feel like I do? You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
hard
I'm like,
on some days. It's very
it
hard.
is, but I think you are excellent at that.
But
and
I think-
that kind of helped me, too.
Yeah, reminding especially younger folks that, hey, this is about you. Your parents may want to invite all their friends and family, and if they're paying for it and they're comfortable with inviting all their friends and family, and you're good with it, okay, invite their additional friends, like whatever. But if you don't want them there,
That's okay.
yeah, that's your boundary. It's for you. It's not for anybody else, but
And
for
I
you
do
and your
think
significant
that
other.
with what you said about us being a little older, like we're both in our mid-30s, and kind of going back to what I said, we're in our
Clap, clap, clap.
our late 30s. That's crazy.
Is there like a boo?
Never.
There's no
Only
boos.
celebrate. We're
Amen.
only
Aging is a
celebrating.
privilege.
But I do think
It is
that
a privilege.
it is. Hard pill to swallow. It's so scary. But I do think that helps too, because I think we know ourselves more. Like, again, with what I said earlier, I don't think I would have been comfortable 10 years ago in who I was to be confident enough to share that I had fallen in love with Shella. So it really took me being, the age I was, which was 33, I guess, at the time, to really feel comfortable and confident in who I was, to be even open to the idea that we could be together. So I think that's a good point too.
I got you.
Thank you.
Yes. Standing ovation. Yeah. I'm kind of sorry. I didn't know if you were
go ahead.
starting or cut you off. I liked hearing what you were saying about, like, I didn't really have a coming out experience, or like it looked different for you, and this is
Right.
what your truth was. And I'm curious, Shella, kind of what your truth is. If you're comfortable sharing whatever you're comfortable sharing.
I grew up in a fairly religious home. Not so much with my mom, but my father for sure, still to this day. I actually am very proud of the Christian man that he is. And he shows me a lot of love, and I'm very grateful for that. I didn't have a coming out experience, but I will say that it was incredibly difficult to come out because of my religious background with my family. One of my best friends to this day, we've known each other. We like to say we've known each other since the womb, but we've known each other since preschool. Her father was my preacher growing up. He baptized me. I have a very strong connection with her and her family. And so oddly enough, it was incredibly tough, more so coming out to her than it was my father. But I don't know. I think people, if they want to have a coming out party or what have you, do it. I'm not one to be like in the limelight. I don't. That's not my bag. But if you want to go out and have a party, go out and have a party. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But I never felt like I wanted to do that. And at the end of the day, when people, obviously word got around that I was dating women and I didn't want to date men, that nobody was super surprised. So that made it easier for me.
Yeah.
And I will say that when I cut my hair, that became a different conversation. I had always presented a little bit more on the masculine front, but I cut my hair and then it was a different conversation. A lot of folks actually asked me if I was wanting to transition, and I don't want to transition. I love the people that are able to do that and they feel brave enough to do that. I think that's so fantastic. Live your truth. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Support them so much. And I hope more people can get on board with that. Like, people need to be who they are, because it is really difficult not being able to live authentically.
Yeah.
And I wish that we as a country would, embrace that more.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Without getting too like involved in the conversations you guys are having, but like, what kind of conversations are you guys having about what's going on? Like, how are you kind of talking to each other, supporting each other, and what's going on in the world?
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. We talk about it every day.
Yeah.
We talk about,
What can we do?
what can we do? How do we feel
can we do?
safe?
Right.
And it's all unknown, right? We're living in a unprecedented time with an unprecedented leader that emboldens people to violence and bigotry so easily and so effortlessly, to the point where people feel emboldened to be like, I don't have to be hateful quietly now. I can be hateful
Say or do whatever they
out
want.
loud, you know? They're like, absolutely. I get to hate people the way I've always wanted because I see the president of the United States doing that. So I think for us, with all of these different executive orders and the threat of potentially just anything could happen. I mean, I equate it to, like, I equate Obergefell, which is the law that kind of sanctioned marriage equality and made it the law of the land. I mean, we thought Roe versus Wade was safe, and look what happened there. So it's just, we're kind of just on our toes because there's all of this movement right now and this kind of hearsay that we have to be like kind of aware of as a couple of women who are married to each other, more so than, a woman and a man married to each other that will never have to worry about it. So it's hard. I mean,
But I think it's finding community and support within your community, but also listening to people on the other side too, because at the end of the day, there's things that they don't understand because people aren't talking to them.
Yes.
And so it's like having these conversations, as difficult as it will be, like, to have them anyway. But I will say too, what I think this season of life is shining upon this country, hopefully, at least for me, for sure, is how important it is to pay attention to what's going on locally.
yeah.
And what you can do to support your community and how you're voting.
Right.
Yes.
That is something that I wish I would have paid more attention to when I was younger. And I hate that it's taken me essentially this long to get to that point. But better late than never, some people say. I will say that today. But that I think that those are conversations that we honestly even need to have more of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guys faring? I mean, as two women that are in, you're newly engaged and you've been married for a while, both to the opposite sex.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you guys talk about this?
This is one that mainly with like social media and everything coming at us so quickly and so much, it's hard because I feel selfish that I can kind of have ignorance to it and be like, I'm just gonna turn it off. But then I'm not, because I have people that I care about that I know this is affecting, that I'm in a place where I don't know how to help and I don't know what to do. Yeah. And I don't know how to ask how I can help or what I can do. I don't know how to support without, I don't want it to come across some sort of way that, I don't know, that sounds wrong, or I don't know.
You don't want to be like
uneducated in a way.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I don't know necessarily as much as I should know, but I'm an ally and I'm not for what's happening.
Exactly.
Right.
I want my people to know that I am and that I support them. And I don't know. It's just a weird, it's so much information overload that I want to be educated, but I also want to respect my peace at the same time, that I'm trying to kind of find that line of making sure I'm not being ignorant and I am being educated and I am supporting. And I think that Holt and I have those conversations all the time, because honestly, we talk about politics all the time, because like we said, you can't not these days. Right. And so it is just constantly in my head that I'm like, I just always want to make sure people know that I'm here and I support them. I just don't know the best way to do that.
I think you're doing great.
I was going to say, I think
everybody knows.
Doing like, just being yourself and doing what you can. And it's like, sometimes it is not talking about it and just like being a warm person and just,
drinking wine and talking on a podcast together.
Hell yeah. No,
You know what?
way.
Hell yeah.
Should be more of this. Carol, every time she smiles at the camera.
about this button.
It's the Carol button
Yeah.
now. It will always
It
be
is
the
the
Carol
Carol
button.
button. C for
It is the
Carol.
C. It is the C button, so it's the Carol button.
Yeah.
Meant
But
to
I
be.
don't know. I feel like, honestly, I've just been super depressed and anxious just with everything that's coming
girl.
out. And it's just hard. It's just, again, it's all the hate. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around
that
why
somebody
does
cares.
it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
How is this actually affecting you?
Right, and it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Why does somebody else's happiness have to bring you, why are you trying to destroy that? It breaks my
And
heart.
that is something I won't ever understand, because it's like, I always think about, the party of small government versus big government. It feels big to me that they want to be in our lives and our bedroom and all these things. And I'm
just
like,
can't
oh
imagine.
my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine caring. I could only imagine supporting people. And I think a lot of it comes down to religion. But again, what does that have to do with me? Respectfully, like, what does
Yes.
somebody else's religion have to do with me?
Yes.
What does it have to do with you? My Christian wife, I mean, you definitely consider yourself a Christian. I have had my moments where I've been on kind of a faith journey, and but it's so hard because it's all like in the name of Christianity, and I'm like, but I don't feel like that's what it is.
Because it's
That's
not
not love.
it's not just the black or white. Like everyone's
Yeah.
relationship with whatever God they believe in, whatever God they talk to, and that is personal. So that's why
Yeah.
it's like, I don't understand why then this is your personal relationship. You're telling me that's how it needs to be done. That's how it should be done.
Yeah.
That's how everyone should do it. It's like, no.
It's things like that when I hear all of this rhetoric about hate, to your point, and just condemning queer people, I'm like, sit down with her, sit down with her, to your point. And it's like,
Have a
I bet
conversation.
they wouldn't feel like that.
Definitely not.
And
There's
it's like,
no
how
way.
could you not?
How could you?
How
Yeah.
could you not? So I just think that we're all a lot closer than we think, but it is going to take people changing their vote and the way that they're like, it's not just being nice to our faces, right? It's doing something about it.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's where
action
I
behind it.
struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is like, there's so many people that in our lives even that I feel like are great to us, and then they just wander into, and it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
People are good at compartmentalizing, though. I honestly wish I could be better.
Me too.
At that.
Me too.
Don't we all?
Yeah, it's hard out there right now. Oh,
Thank you both for sharing. I mean, everything about your journeys and finding each other. Thank you for opening up and sharing. And again, even just what you did within your wedding journey, although it seemed small of just sending an email and just, hey, just want to let you know, like, you guys are such a safe and loving and welcoming place to always be in. And I love being around you too. So thank you for always just being so open to having any and every conversation with any and every person. I just love you guys.
Safe
so
space.
sweet.
You guys.
You guys create that for people.
Yeah, definitely.
We love
Yeah,
you.
you guys
Warm
are great.
people.
I
Yeah.
love you guys so
Love
much.
you guys.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
you guys
like
are great.
Now I just want to cry.
And now it's time for the scheduled cry.
Schedule wine and cry.
We asked you guys anything you guys wanted to talk about, brought up any questions you had. And one thing that you brought up that we kind of want to talk to in regards to like career paths, but also just who you are as people. You brought up that Shella, you are neurotypical, and Carol, you are neurodivergent. Tell us more about how did you guys even like realize that, come to that realization, have that conversation?
I didn't. She did. Which is interesting, actually.
Yes. when you actually think of it like that, that's so true.
Would never cross my brain.
I've been diagnosed on TikTok and
Self-diagnosed.
but also by my psychiatrist. It will surprise no one that is viewing or listening that I am the neurodivergent one of this bunch of this group, and Shella is neurotypical, which means, and kind of the difference between neurotypical is somebody whose brain functions the way we think. It's A, B, C, D, E, where someone who's neurodivergent can kind of bounce around and be more fluid with like, maybe the alphabet doesn't start with A, maybe it starts with F. You know what I mean?
Starts with A.
Yeah, but you're like, no, it starts with A. So that is always interesting in our relationship. But Shella's so graceful and so patient with me because I'm like always in La La Land, and she's always firmly planted on the ground. And so,
But also diddle.
There's
Get her up. The glass. Well,
diddly
Wait, come out.
Time for a little diddle.
Depending on what day. So, ditto. Because you teach me a lot of patience. It's very good. I
that's
need that
interesting.
in my day-to-day life.
That's
I need that in my day-to-day life.
See, this is why we are. Let's get down to it.
So it is interesting though, because I do feel like in terms of our careers, we have found careers that really work for who we are as people. It took me, which is also a
Shocker.
metaphor in and of itself, took me, a good 15 years to find it, where she was kind of just right into, you were kind of a corporate girly from the beginning and kind of worked your way into.
You had the framework.
Yes. And so what I mean by
extent.
that is like you kind of found a job that you were good at and then kind of progressed naturally. Whereas my background professionally is all in sales. So I did a lot of things. I did real estate management. I did B2B sales. And I found a lot of success in those things because I love talking to people and I love forming relationships and I love just yapping, Like when I was in B2B sales, I would sit down with somebody and I worked for Staples for the time and I would be selling the platform that we used where people could order all of these different things. And halfway through, it'd be like, oh shit, like we didn't even talk about the solution. I'm like, I know all their kids went to, their alma mater and Jessica's and ballet. I'm like, shit, I want to come see Annie the musical. Like, yeah, I will be there, Bob.
I didn't know your background was in sales, but now
Oh,
it makes
hell yeah.
so much sense.
Hell yeah.
So much sense.
So I transitioned from sales to now I'm a hairstylist, which will surprise no one.
And a damn good one at that.
Thank you.
She's mine.
But it's really the perfect career for me because really all I do all day is talk to people about life, and then I just happen to be making them feel beautiful, which honestly I feel like is the most important job in the world. If I can directly impact the way someone feels about themselves, it's something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a hairstylist. I just thought I was too old to do it, and really it took having a really stable partner in my 30s to be like, this is kind of a dream I want to pursue. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm nuts for wanting to go back to school? And she was like, no, I think you'd kill it. Like, I think you'd be great. And she supported me the whole way. So now I own my own salon.
Yes,
just
you
2 years in.
do. And you just had the best month you've
Yes!
ever had in business,
my
which can we
career.
also? Hell yeah.
I started off at a commission salon, and I had so much fun. And then about a year in, my co-owner Riley and we left, and we started our own salon called Reputation. It's been so fun, and so I couldn't imagine another career. And I love that I started in my 30s. I think I wouldn't have been the same hairstylist I am now without the sales background and corporate background I had before. I think it really gave me a lot of insight into working with people and connecting with others.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about you?
Real fast before you do, because this just makes me think of, and I've always wanted to tell you this.
What?
We've had the same woman that has cut our hair our whole lives until coming to you.
Yeah.
Love her so much. And it's funny because my dad always talks about, her name is Tish. I've known Tish for 25 years of my life in 10-minute increments. Oh. Because she's cut his hair forever. But we know each other's families. We've gotten invited to parties, to weddings, to all the things. She's an integral part of our
Yes.
childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that what you were saying about the impact, it's funny because he says, I know her in 10-minute increments in 25 years.
That's awesome.
But that's all you
beautiful.
need half the time. Granted, as women,
Not
we
10
get to
minutes
sit
for
with
you.
you for 2 hours, which is amazing.
yeah.
But it is you guys really do make such a huge impact, and it's so special.
It's so fun. I love all of my clients. I am so lucky. I have the best clients in the world, and everyone's just so kind and sweet. We have the best time ever. And
Can attest, yes. 10
so
out of 10.
fun. It's so fun. I can't believe it's a job. It feels illegal, but it's so fun.
Okay, sorry. Now talk to Shannon.
So by all means,
Yes.
Not
Tell me
near
about
as
your fun
exciting.
job, honey.
It's exciting in
Not
different
near
ways.
as exciting.
Tell us about your
So
job.
I'm in information technology. I have been in information technology since out of college. I actually wanted to be a hospital administrator because I really cared about healthcare and wanted to help people.
You'd be so good at that.
She would.
Holy shit.
She would be.
It was so interesting. I ended up meeting this woman. I was working these crazy hours trying to pay for school, all these things, and her husband was the CIO at a very large technology company, and she was like, I think that you would be a good fit working for him. And so, I mean, I gave her my resume, and at this point I'm, 18 years old probably. Wow. And he took it. It took him a year. I didn't think anything was going to happen with it. And he literally took the biggest chance on me in the world. I mean, to that, I owe him my career, honestly. I'm very grateful to him.
You always say that.
He's
That's
he's just such a good dude. And so he hired me, and he made it very clear that he was my foot in the door, and I was going to make it what it was, and I did. And, because of the life that we got to experience from 2020 essentially through into 2023, I actually am a certified business continuity professional. So I used to do pandemic planning.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's how.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's so interesting that and also that I didn't get to live in that profession during that time. I was very grateful that I got out of it when I did, because it would have been incredibly stressful.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I used to travel a lot for work and meeting with clients to help develop their business continuity plans, their disaster recovery plans, making sure their technology was going to work whenever, their data centers went down or they got washed out by a hurricane, because that happened. And it just really, really stressful, very stressful situations in my career end up evolving into risk management for technology, into compliance for technology, now into cybersecurity, and making sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to protect our data.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am at now. And I work for a large federal manufacturing and technology company that is local. And it's been quite interesting and eye-opening, because my experience has been primarily in healthcare and banking. And so going into the manufacturing side of things, they're a little bit behind in technology, but they're also innovative in ways, because AI is obviously hot and heavy. And so it's really cool to experience it in that realm.
Yeah.
But so I get to, as Carol likes to say, she thinks I write laws on the internet. I don't do that, but I get to enforce the laws that come out. Good job.
Yeah.
You knew and remembered that one too.
Oh, yeah.
She's waiting for that one.
It was. What does that even mean that she writes laws on the internet? I don't know. People.
Yeah.
I kind of like that though. When we were walking through New York and it was just us two, and you were telling me about your job, I was like, I'm following, but I am not tracking. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
that's so foreign.
but it was
to
also
us,
so
yeah.
cool to hear that. I'm like, holy shit! Like, I understand what you're doing to an extent that I was like, you are so intelligent.
Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Right. Hell yeah.
Everything you were saying, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's ever evolving, and so that's what I like about it, because it changes all the time. And you've got now recently, within the last 10 years, you have all these data privacy laws, and so part of that is my job is to help enforce these with our systems, so the customers that we serve, they feel protected and that they're getting a service that is going to work for them.
Right.
When it needs to work for them, and we're not going to sell their information, all this good fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gobbledygook, but it's fun for me, and I enjoy it. And unfortunately for my wife, I now have become like a risk adverse person, because I had to plan for so long. Of my career was planning for the worst thing that could happen.
You're wired to think that way.
Yes, which, coming back to the neurodivergent and neurotypical way of thinking, my brain thrived with that, because it was very easy for me to be like, oh, okay, this building is burned down. I have to get 10 people out from this floor, 20 people out from this floor. Let me develop this plan. And I can do it so quick.
Panic,
or
run around.
You work in finance,
Hope for the best.
and you have 10 people who have on-premise desktop computers, but you need laptops so they can do their functions from home because the building is gone. Like, those are the things that we had to work through, and I had to, it's wild.
That's wild.
And then COVID hit, and I was so glad I wasn't in that
Oh my
world
gosh.
anymore, because it was so stressful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any, did you think you would see yourself here?
No, I mean, because now what I do didn't exist. So
That's
even
true. Wow.
like, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't finish my undergrad. Yeah,
Wow.
I was literally a semester away, but I was doing very well in my career, and what I was doing, I wasn't learning it, in college, and I didn't want student loan debt, and I was able to pay out of pocket for what I did go to.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not learning any of this in school. So, and now where I'm at now, I mean, it's been all on the job training essentially, and just educating myself in other ways.
Yeah.
And now I'd be so curious to go back to school to actually probably learn some different stuff. But I mean, technology, it evolves so quickly.
Right.
So it's been interesting, but I like it because it does change so quickly.
Yeah. That's so true when you put it that way, of like, it didn't exist, but it's also now really, it's so important.
It's so important. Yep.
But it didn't exist X amount of years ago.
Yep.
Which is wild.
Yep. It's crazy. Yep.
Did you think you were gonna go in a different direction, or did you have, like, when you were in college, of like, did you have something that you thought you were going to go into and then you kind of surprised yourself with this, or was this kind of
Yeah, so
somewhat of the
my
route?
little neuroatypical brain, I mean, I was, thank you. Can we edit that out? So my little neuro.
She said, I'm
my
not perfect.
And I was like,
My little neurotypical brain was like, oh, you like healthcare, you want to help people. So you're in high school, you're going to do these things to shadow. I mean, I was doing all these activities after school. I got a job in the hospital. I mean, very quickly, I was like, what can I do to understand the business better so I can move up quicker?
Yeah.
And then I got there and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's healthcare is a sad space to be in.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what? I shouldn't say sad. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And a lot of props to those folks who can do it. But it for me, it was really hard to see certain staff working with the same type of patient day in and day out, and like they were just very apathetic. And I struggled with that.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought to myself, like, ooh, if I'm in this position for that long,
Will I
am
become
I
that
going to
way?
become that way? Yeah, exactly. And so when my coworker at the time was like, oh my gosh, you know what? You would work really well with my husband. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is an opportunity. And it was. And I took it, and thankfully it's worked out
and
well
look
for
at
me.
him now.
I love it.
that. No, we say that all the time. It's like, that's what life is all about, is making connections and taking opportunities when
Totally.
they present themselves to you.
Yep.
And it's not a linear.
No.
No.
At least it shouldn't be. I feel like so many people think it is.
Yes.
And I think for me, like, I am so grateful, that I went like this, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like now I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing.
Yes.
But I think for so many people, it doesn't have to be linear. And it's really, like you said, all about connections and kind of finding people that believe in you, which is so important.
People taking that chance on you.
Yeah,
That's what it takes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I actually talked to that gentleman about a week ago because I thought we were going to see each other at a same event, and I was super bummed he wasn't going to be there. But he lives locally now, and he's actually part of the reason that I live in Kansas City as well. So he recruited
love him.
me.
Let
and
me
yeah,
thank him.
yeah.
Yay!
That is
Yeah.
so awesome.
So you both have very different, as we talked about, career paths, and you have your own individual lives within your life together. So how do you help each other through, your mental health and prioritizing your physical health and all of that?
You want to start?
Good question.
No.
That's like you with the
start.
intro. No.
So for me with Carol, it is very important for me to have like check-ins. And so we try to prioritize at least like a 10-minute check-in. Not every day. We used to do every day.
We used to do every day. We need to get back.
Yeah, we
get back to it.
We do, but it is very important because there are things that happen during the day, and because she has her hands on people's heads, we don't get to talk during
Out
the
of
day.
context,
Yeah.
that sounds weird, but as a hairstylist,
But it's
y'all
factual.
get
That's
it.
really funny.
Yeah. But so for me, I'm like, I need to have this communication. I'm an over communicative individual.
Right.
And so these check-ins are very important. You asked about physical health as well.
Yeah.
That is something I prioritize all the time. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't working out in some capacity. So now the warmer weather is coming. I love walking. I used to run, but my joints don't love that as much anymore. So that for me, if I can talk to someone on the phone, typically I'll try to call her if she's available. Because our schedules are different.
Right.
So I go to work very early, get home early. She's typically already.
My earliest appointment at work is at 10 typically.
Yeah.
So like my clients, depending on when I'm seeing clients, it's either from like 10 to 5 or noon to 7,
Right.
you know, on any given day. So it's hard.
But we also have standing date night.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because it's fun. And I don't know, I always enjoy going and exploring different restaurants that are just opening, etc. And also just being like a tourist in your own city.
Yes.
You're
I
so
love
good.
that.
You're
Yes.
so
So
good at
good.
exploring
Thank
and
you.
just like you
Yes.
said, just meandering and finding something.
Yeah, something random. I just want to pop into it. Like, I don't care. I don't know what it is. I'll just look. I might learn something. I don't know. The tiny and the toys and tiny the miniatures.
Yes.
The miniatures museum.
Yes, I've heard
Go.
about this. I
Just
really
go.
want to go.
It's fascinating.
I really want to.
It's on.
I didn't mean to roll my eyes at that, but it's just so funny that like
That is
you
something
brought
I
that
would
up
do.
because
Yep.
I literally the reason I was doing that is because I was like she's that's what she's gonna say.
Yeah, just go.
I was right.
Just go.
She's thinking about the Toys and Tiny Museum.
Yeah, it's the miniatures. The miniatures. Yeah,
Yes.
it's interesting.
It's so cool.
Because
It
why
is.
would that be a museum? But it is.
But it is. So go check it out.
Yep.
Shella will be there.
Yes.
Probably.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
into
so anytime I can drag someone with me to go do something random, I'm like, just come with me and go do this weird thing that I saw that I don't know anything
like
about.
to come with.
You do. That was actually, yeah. Go ahead.
I do. Well, I was gonna say I don't always I'm a sleepier person than Shella, and so I do need to take breaks in order to be fun later. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's
Gotta
like
recharge.
if we go, if we have a I typically work my schedule now because I'm my own boss. I own my own salon. I see clients behind the chair Tuesday through Friday now. I do one Saturday a month just to give people that option, but I want my Saturdays and weekends just like everybody else.
Right.
And so if we're going and doing something, a lot of the time we'll wake up and I'll be like, what are we doing today? And she loves to be like, well, we're going to do this, this, and this. And sometimes
My
it'll be
favorite.
me coming up with some
whole plan.
things.
Yes.
We're going to the miniatures museum.
And then
I'm
at
like,
this
oh,
time-
no. You know? I'm like, oh.
Sometimes there's some reluctance, but she still goes.
I do. And I do feel like you've brought me out of my shell in that way. I love being at home. I love our home. It's so cozy and warm, and our cats are there, and our Shih Tzu is there. Our babies. We have 3 babies, and they're so sweet, and they're all just like little guys, you know, that live in our house. They're just little guys living.
Little man.
Yeah, they're so sweet. But I do feel like we try to prioritize our time together since our schedules during the week are so opposite. So if we can connect, you know, on a weeknight date night, or if we can take a walk together. I know, like when the weather gets nicer,
So much
easier.
she'll ask me, and she'll also bribe me with the cats that live in our neighborhood. So that is one
knows.
Know
way.
your audience.
She'll be like, I know
Know
you're
your
tired, but do
audience.
you want to go see the cats? And I'll be like,
Yeah.
you want to go see all those orange cats? I'm like, yeah. You know? And so that is one way we do that, is just kind of prioritize each other in that way, whether it be, you know, an activity like that. But we do our check-ins. We try to. We haven't been as great at it lately just because life's been so busy.
Yeah.
But that is something that we try to do. And then we try to keep Sundays for ourselves too.
like
Whether it be
that.
like
Yeah.
grocery shopping, life stuff, house stuff, groceries,
Soon, hopefully, to be a garden.
garden.
Oh, I love that for
Garden
you.
day.
Can I please come over and watch?
Yes.
I love gardens.
I will
just
watch.
wanna
Yes, you want to be
I just want to be
There.
with you with the garden.
okay. Yes.
Okay, yeah,
You can
sorry.
come
Anyway.
over.
Yes,
That's it.
absolutely.
That's all.
Okay, deal.
Yep.
I'll just sit. I'll bring the wine.
Yes.
And I think it's like, I think the other thing too is what I will say too in the physical aspect is you have always been so, and I think as women, right? All of us are women. We have all dealt with really hard things with body image, and I think we can all agree like the beauty standard has never been higher, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
And you know, I was an NFL cheerleader for 6 years, and I feel so far removed from that life. I look back at that girl that did that for so long, and I'm so proud of that accomplishment as a dancer and as a teammate and all of those things. But I also look at my body during that time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was unreal. You know, I was a professional athlete, so I can't compare myself now to that. But I will say that you helped me in terms of like keeping physical health a priority. I've just started doing Pilates, which I love. It's a very
Yes.
slow pace,
Yeah.
which is good for me. And it's really the first fitness thing I've found since cheering that doesn't that doesn't stress me out and make me want to die during it. You know, like
I love that.
I know. And it's like I have a great workout, but during it, my cortisol isn't spiking. It's like I'm in control and I love it. And I do think that you being so consistent with your physical fitness has helped me so much. And so I feel like it's so true. You inspire me with the way you do that. Because sometimes I'm like,
I want to take a nap.
What? I took a 5-year break. Okay. It's like a 5-year break. You know, because I had somebody telling me for so long, like, this is the way you need to look. And also, I mean, there was no way I wouldn't have looked the way I did because our practice schedule and workouts were so grueling and so intense.
Yeah.
But I also know that cannot be replicated now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And I don't have to be like that.
Right.
So,
But I'm sure, like you said, it was a transition, like after stopping abruptly
Totally.
and then just like,
yeah. And then throwing in a pandemic and all of the things,
Yes.
it was really hard. And so I do feel like, thank goodness that you're the way you are because you really have helped me. And not in a weird, and I don't mean that being like you've told me what you've never once said. You should do this. You just always encourage me.
LOL.
And like if I don't want to go, you're like,
Get to the gym.
She's like, we're gonna get a late fee, and I'm like, okay. Or I'll be like, okay, I'm going back to bed. You know, but like, or I'll be
Kind of
like,
like
okay.
a lead by example thing. Like she just does it and you admire her and you look at her in such a high way
look
that you're
up
like,
to
wait,
her.
I want to do that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I look up to the way that you are so. You do what you say you're gonna do, and I admire that about you. You just like stick. If you tell me you're doing that, you're doing it. And I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah.
Thanks, Cindy.
Hell yeah.
I admire both of you. I do also want to say, because you brought it up, I really appreciate, not even really being in that world, but I really appreciate you and Claire sharing your experiences and your feelings, especially coming from, like you said, such a grueling and tough and hard period of your life that you are so proud of, but also living that experience now on the other side and sharing that has been so awesome to watch you guys do. But I can't even imagine again how helpful it is to others that really need that. And I just thank you guys for sharing that and being vulnerable in that state, because I know that that's very tough. And like when you have two sides of, I'm so proud of this and I love this and this was some of the best memories I've ever made, but I'm still going to be honest on the same time.
It's so hard because it's like I look back on that time in my life. I had worked my entire life to dance professionally, and then when the opportunity arose in the NFL, we took it and we were lucky enough to make the team in 2014. And I think looking back, I'm so proud of the accomplishment. I had the most amazing friends. I made the most amazing connections to this day. I'm just so grateful. I mean, to be honest, without my girlfriends, I would just die. Like, I really would. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I would just die. You know, they're amazing and just some of the most incredible women I've ever been able to have the pleasure of meeting and working alongside. And, but that type of role in the NFL and the NBA, there's a weird objectification that comes with it that you're aware of. And as a progressive person, that's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what's happening. So I see that objectification. But then I also have to be like, well, this is my dream. I'm dancing professionally. And there's also this like beauty standard you have to live up to and this fitness standard. And then you are on a team with 33 other people that are 10 out of 10s that are so best of the best at what they do and just physically, emotionally, all of the things.
Yeah.
But I also think that you can love something and value the experience, but it's also okay to have criticism of what that is to make it better for others.
Yeah.
And I think that the NFL in general and NFL cheerleaders – organizations that employ NFL cheerleaders would do themselves a favor if they really, really valued their female athletes more. And not even female athletes. I know that a lot of NFL cheer teams and NBA teams, you know, have men or people that identify as men that are on the team or people that identify as women on the team, on the teams that they have. And I think that it's a really interesting space that has its roots in a lot of male gaze things, you know?
Yep.
And so I really had to separate myself from that when I was cheering, and then now removed. I've been kind of disillusioned from like all of that.
Because there's gay women watching you too.
Oh, there is watching. Yeah, true. Shit. Yeah, the male gaze, the female gaze. You know what? I'm all about the female gaze. Okay, like if I can go out and shake my ass and a girl would be like, hell yeah, like
Right.
that would be me. I'd be like, yeah. Every time I watch anybody performing, I'm like, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the female gaze, absolutely.
We even talked
I'll
about
do
with
it.
Zach and Holt. We were like our hall passes, and I was like, Dua Lipa.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
Hell yeah.
and not even like, and yeah, Dua Lipa, she's amazing.
I don't know why she always comes to mind, but she is my number one.
Yes,
and I'm like,
and
you
not
are
even-
just awesome. Anyway.
Oh my god, she's amazing. I love her so much. I love Dua. But not even from like a sexual perspective. If I see somebody and I'm like, they're doing whatever they're doing, I'm like, oh my god, you're amazing.
Yes.
Like, yes. You know what I
Respect.
mean? And
Yes.
so it's like, I love that. And
Yeah.
so I would do it all day long for the female gaze.
Yes.
Let's switch that, you know? But I think it was hard.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough. And I did it for 6 years, which is a very long time. And your
Yeah.
identity gets wrapped up into it. So, all things considered, like 5 years removed, I feel like I am a different person.
Yeah.
And it took me 5 years to kind of unravel. I'm so proud of the experience. I love my coach. I love, the people I cheered with. But I also think that it's okay to kind of speak up to be like, these things were really hard while I was
Yes.
dealing with them. And this is something I had to deal with. And I want to share it.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and especially as a woman in such a climate where it's really fucking hard to be a woman right now.
It's impossible.
So you
It's
guys
impossible.
doing that in the climate that we're in, that's where I appreciated it even more.
Thanks, Boo.
That it's something that I feel like people are talking down and hating on more, but you guys literally don't care.
Oh,
And
no, I do
and
not
I
care
love it
at
so
all.
much.
No, bring on the haters.
I live for your guys' stories.
The haters are my motivators.
I love it. But again, that's where I appreciate you doing that, because in such a scary time for women, you guys are, again, further pushing that boundary of like, no, fuck that, we're going to talk about it.
Oh my god, that's the biggest compliment I could ever receive, but I don't care because it's true.
I love it.
But it just shows how confident you are too. It's like you said, going back to being with Shella and all of that, how you wouldn't have even been open to it at that point in your life.
And now
then
totally, I'm
now
like,
look
I
at
don't
you.
care. I'm
You
so
would have shut.
comfortable.
You wouldn't have even looked at me.
I would have, because that was my little gay awakening to be like, ooh, she's cute.
Ooh, she should call me.
Yeah, it's like that. Okay, it's like that. Did you guys watch the Gabby Petito documentary?
Yes.
Loretta. The internet's going wild.
Everybody
for
loves
Lieutenant Loretta.
Yes,
I was
it was
like,
just her
oh,
voice at
the
first, and then they
officer.
showed her, and
Officer.
everybody's like, "What?"
The internet's going wild for
Yes.
that woman. I'm
Yes.
like, I just, and that's how I know. I mean, I'm married to a woman, but I'm like,
and that.
it's always weird. That's how I know. I'm a little bit gay. And then they're like, you're married to a woman. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
True.
That is
That's true. That's true.
Good point.
Yes.
Oh my god. I
I don't want to end. I know.
Anything
Do
you
we
guys
get
have
to
for
ask
us?
you a question?
Yeah.
Oh.
I love this.
Hang on.
What are the questions? Yeah. What? Anything you got?
Okay, I do. I do have something.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
I want to know what the most best part is. We're gonna read.
No, I
everything.
love that wording. I love that wording.
Most
Most best part. What is the best part about getting to see each other each week?
Ooh.
I love that.
I've said this throughout the whole thing.
What?
I love watching our relationship grow, our friendship grow. And I think that's like, it's forced us to have tough conversations. It's forced us to talk to each other in a deeper way that I don't think we ever would have had. That, like, I think we could have gotten there, but it's really just kind of encouraged us to have deeper conversations that I'm like, I feel like I know you so well, and I feel like you know me so well, that
Right.
like, I've only known you for how many years, but you know me better than people that have known me my whole life. So that's what I like, being able, like you said, the standing appointment of, you know what's happening in my life, you know what's going on, you know me to my core.
Right.
That's what I love
I
about
think
it.
it's just hard to have, friendships the older we get, and you have your own
Life.
And it's nothing, like, it's not personal.
No.
You're not trying to be that way. You still care, and you still like keep in touch as much as you can, and you see each other as much as you can, but having this just consistently, like, every week, I know for sure I'm going to see Grace, and no matter what's going on, like, I can vent to her, and we have each other, especially, like we said, just with everything going on in the world. It's just nice to have, like, a safe space,
Yeah.
a female friend. It's not just talking to my husband, and it's just different.
Someone that gets it.
Yeah.
And in similar-ish stages of life. that
Yes.
we can relate to each other, but also kind of like talk it through together.
Right,
too.
but it's also nice too because I feel like I'm able to help you because I am a bit older than you, and like you're going through like you're just getting engaged, and like I'm married, just been through different parts.
Yes.
and we're at different stages of our life journey, but we're
yes.
also still very similar at the
Yes.
same time.
Yeah. And we just are very similar. We think the same. We do all the things. We are very similar, which also makes it a lot easier to just want to hang out all the time
and not get tired of each other.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
I love that. I think that's so beautiful in friendship.
Do you guys have a ritual or like a specific thing that you do to get prepared for the podcast?
We probably
ritual.
should.
Is that
Yeah, we
something
probably
that
should.
you want to do
Yeah,
now?
dance around.
That's something I feel like we should create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Because I kind of like that.
Okay.
I
we
like
just
the
kind of
idea
come
that.
in and we're just like, you ready to do
Let's
this?
do it.
How you doing?
Should we turn this mic on?
No, I do like that because I think it would also bring it back to like the intentional side of why we're doing this. And sometimes I think we do go through stressful weeks that it's just like,
We don't have the
all
time
right, let's
to
do it.
even
Let's
think
go.
about it. Yeah.
So I think that is honestly a very like powerful thing to do of like almost just like, I don't know, I'm throwing this out, like checking in with each other. But I mean, specific things I think as like a ritual that I think would be kind of cool to make a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Maybe you
for
guys
bringing that
do like a
up.
handshake before you start the episode.
A little like,
really
a
like
little
that.
one.
Or whatever she just did. I'm not sure. What did you?
I
She
was
said,
like,
left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain.
I have a very important question.
Yeah. I'm scared too.
You guys ready?
No.
I'm so scared.
What is your favorite vegetable and how would it dance?
And you have to perform.
You have to do it.
No,
Ready?
not the
5,
dance.
6, 7, 8,
And
1.
2, 3, 4. Okay,
5.
my favorite
My favorite
vegetable.
Yeah.
vegetable.
And how would it do a performance?
Okay, broccoli.
Oh, so good.
one.
And I feel like it'd be like,
Yeah. This is a question I
like
asked
I'm
my...
looking at like my head.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of
Like a floret.
yeah, a floret for sure. We don't
Yeah.
like the cuts.
No,
I'm
no,
a
no,
floret.
no.
And I think I would just be like, like a little like,
Yeah. It
Like
would
a
be
little,
like, oh my God,
and like
yes.
shake some little like
That's
leaves
fair.
off.
Okay, I love it.
Okay.
Grace.
Why am I like, what's a vegetable?
She's like, what's a fruit? What's a vegetable?
am I going to say the wrong thing?
Cucumber.
Oh man, God, I feel like I like a lot of vegetables. I hate cucumbers.
I
And
don't like 'em.
And
What?
pickles.
I hate pickles too. She loves pickles. Pickle
The
evangelist over here.
best.
I love a pickle. I made egg salad and I put extra dill in it.
No. Call the police.
Not
Yes.
a pickle
Call the
gal.
police.
Not a pickle gal.
Carrot.
I will say.
If you say
I love a
peas,
good-
I swear.
I'm not a pea gal. Don't
I
worry.
love peas too. I love peas.
I do love peas, but like not a pea gal.
Now I'm doing my broccoli.
I do really love Brussels sprouts.
Oh, it's a good
Oh,
one.
it's a good one. How would it dance?
How would it dance?
Yeah.
Do a somersault.
Hell
Somersault.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh, you're gonna do it.
Oh,
Oh, you put your feet down, and I got excited.
The way I'm so sad for this, I'm like this. Why am I so like erect? I'm literally like,
Sarah told me to do a somersault. So that's why I was prepared
She was like-
for my somersault.
Roll around.
Oh God. No, I feel like because I'm not gonna have a mic, so I'm gonna have to scream. Because I feel like Brussels sprouts, like
There's a sound of you.
I know. I was like, what?
Scream.
oh my God.
should this be the cliffhanger for episode 2? You. Oh no. Okay, it's fine.
It's okay. You got it.
Oh, that's all.
She's like, oh no.
You cut Brussels sprouts in half. They're not gonna be able to see me, so I feel like it's just like a.
no.
The way she just falls.
No.
I feel like that could be like a
And then you
dual
just lay on
purpose
the tray
vegetable.
and you get cooked. Like that's
No.
just.
You know what? And you spread a little balsamic on there, honey.
My
That
God.
was beautiful.
I guess then you can.
That was so funny.
That was beautiful. I love that.
Oh my God. What are your really quickly? What are your answers?
But yeah, you gotta go.
Oh,
Ready? 5, 6.
Cucumber.
Okay, what is it?
A cucumber?
Oh, no, what is the dance, honey?
Oh,
Oh, that's cute.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's good.
That's cute. Okay, mine's asparagus, and it'd be like,
I do believe.
That was the best one
I
yet.
do
I don't
believe.
think a
She was
potato
ready
is a
for this.
vegetable, but it would be like,
I was gonna say potato, and I was just gonna go like this.
Yes. Yes. It'd be like.
But that's where my brain was like, is potato a vegetable? Am I going to sound like an idiot?
No, it is a vegetable.
Okay.
Well, it depends on if it's a mashed or a baked
Okay.
or a fry.
Yeah.
I feel like they all be different dances.
But isn't that
see.
fun to think about?
I was like,
Yeah.
are they all the same vegetable?
Yeah, different dance, different
The
dance.
same thing. And I
Same
was like,
veggie.
okay. Yeah, I'm following. A good mashed.
It
Anyway,
was
Oh
good.
my god, I love it.
that'd be like a.
That was the
Thank
best
you.
question ever.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for having
you.
me.
Thank
Yes,
you both
thank
so
you.
much for coming and spending your evening with us.
Yes.
Cheers.
I love you guys so much.
To you both.
We love you guys so
Yeah,
much.
we love
You're both,
you guys.
You're both so special to us. We really appreciate both.
See us next time in New York City.
New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's a
We're clearly
thing
doing
you
karaoke, and I will observe both of you.
I will not be doing. Sarah sings every episode. I do not. So it looks like Sarah's gonna sing and Carol's gonna have to dance, and I'm just gonna go.
We'll be in the back.
We'll be in the back like this. See you in New York.
It's up to you, New York, New York, New York.
When Carol is drunk, she sings musicals.
I do. I put on show.
What's your favorite musical?
Oh God.
Besides Chicago.
Really?
She always
Oh,
sings
I love
well.
Guess what mine
Wicked.
is. Guess what mine is.
Les Miserables.
No.
No. It's
Mamma
Hairspray.
Mia.
No.
It's
Oh,
Hairspray.
no.
No. It's
Waitress.
Book of Mormon.
No.
It's
Gotcha.
It's
525,600 minutes. 100%. 525,000 moments so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? How about love? Oh, you got to How about love?
I know a very specific bar you both can
How
sing
about
at.
love? Measuring love. Seasons of love.
I will say thank you guys for
Seasons of
always being good singers.
love. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the outro.
And on that note, woo!
Goodbye.
Cut it.